Welcome to my channel. Yesterday I had an amazing day because I received a gift from Candice. Candice sent me two coloring books. One I already filmed for you. It was a village charm, and she also sent to me Mythic World. I dreamed about this book from the moment when it was announced by Kirby, and finally I got this beauty. For me, it's definitely on top of the Kirby's list of books. I love all his previous books like World Within Worlds or Fragile World, but you know how much I love to color mythology and everything connected to it, so of course this book immediately went on top of my preferences. And definitely, if you limit my book collection just to one this book, I am still will be happy to color it from the first until the last page. And I am glad that from the style of this book you can use pencils only. I think that here I have edition which doesn't work perfectly with water, but as soon as I reunite with my acrylic and gouache paints, of course I will try to use them here. But for now, what I saw on these pages, I will be perfectly happy to color it with pencils, because I love on this paper absolutely all my brands, from professional to more cheap one. I love to color with Prismacolors, I love to color with polychromos. So ahead of work, a lot of work ahead of me. I think that you already saw a lot of flip through of this book, so I will try to concentrate on my favorites here. It was very difficult to select my top 10, but I think that I managed to select first two pictures which I would want to color on the first step. You know that usually I don't like to color the best page in the book. I prefer to start from something intermediary, but here it was quite easy to select which page I want to color first. But let me talk first about the name page, and I do love that we have two of them, first spread and the second spread. Here we have parts of the mysterious creatures and it's interesting, but I think that I will do this one on the last step, when it will be easier for me to identify which creatures these parts belong to. I think that when you color everything, it will be easier to recognize. Here we have part of white stag, here we have kitsune. So for the other creatures, I think that I will do this one, this last spread. But the next one, it's absolutely gorgeous, because here we have more environmental page, and it's more about places where all those myths come from, where all those creatures live. And this one I absolutely love, but still I don't know how to color it, because we have architectural elements, we have them from different countries, so color palette will be very complicated, and how to unite all of them in one spread, I have to think. But you know that I love challenges, so this spread immediately attracted my attention. Well, a lot of interesting things here. I always was mesmerized by these unique stone places, those steps of trolls, and I'm glad that Kirby included it. And I was so happy to find that Kirby paid so much attention to all countries, all cultures, and I must confess that probably 80% of the creatures of the legends I didn't know at all. So for me it's a very inspirational, but also very instructional. I will learn a lot of new things when I will color them. So my first page in my top 10 list, it's this Japanese legend with this wicked monkey, and I selected it because it's Matsumoto Castle, one of the most famous buildings in Japan, and I always dreamed to visit it. So maybe if I color this one day I will manage to visit Japan. Well, I won't be saying too much because all the spreads here, they are amazing. I love how Kirby depict everything from people to creatures to landscapes around. It's very easy to color all those clouds. I think that in Kirby books we have one of the most beautiful clouds. So I absolutely love this book. The biggest problem for me now is that many people started to color it. So you know that as with many other books, when you saw a lot of beautiful finished colorings, you feel like you already colored everything with your eyes, not with your pencils. So I try to limit myself at looking at already finished pictures, and I'm very grateful to Candice that she sent me this book. Usually I got my books with a lot of delay, but now I think that I will be able to color it without being overwhelmed by the works of other colorists. And of course I hope that you will join me in coloring in this beautiful book. Of course, I also patiently waiting for the next book by Kirby, which is already announced, and it will be something with space, and it's very unusual for Kirby, so of course I am waiting for it. I will try not to abandon my fragile world and my world within worlds, because I still love them. So I will try to combine all my books, and I think that my channel risks to be only channel of K.Rosanes. Now let's have a look at this spread where we have two other favorite pictures which I selected. One obviously is from Japanese mythology. I think that I already colored couple of kitsune pages. Well, I'm still not very good at all those names, so sorry, I will learn them later when I will be coloring them. And on the left we have Greek mythology, three beautiful Moiras. Beautiful design, and we have three ladies here which creating a thread of your life, of your fortune, and they also can cut it at any moment. So I was always mesmerized by this story, and of course I want to color it. It's not an easy one, mostly because of the background. Here we have flowers, and we have this hint to the time, so we have ancient clocks here. I have to think how to incorporate all those things together and how to create beautiful background according to the style of this page. I think that I will go to the art of William Morris. William Morris, you know, that beautiful English painter. He usually has such a beautiful color combos when you need to select something for the pattern style design like this one. So I think that it will be helpful for me, but for now I am not ready to color this one. So next, let's move a little bit forward. Oh, this one creepy, but I think that first I need to manage to color all the sea pictures in fragile world, and then I will go to this one. Well, here we have another amazing spread. I always was interested in art of Asian countries, and I selected as my first project, which I want to start immediately. It's Kubera from Chinese mythology, and I was fortunate to visit China, and I saw a lot of similar statues of Buddha. Of course, I think that I selected that it will be my first project because I love to color gold, and you know that usually such statues, they are covered by gold or made from gold, so a lot of areas for me to practice once more how to color gold. I just need to select other colors here. I think that I also want to use red. For the background behind I want to use more pastel muted colors, and here we have this beautiful lotus flower, another sign of the Buddhism. So I think that it definitely will be my first project in this book. But the page on the left, it's also amazing. It's something maybe from Sri Lanka or some other similar cultures. I definitely need to learn this story. Well, all those spreads, they are a little bit intimidating, but after I managed to do several spreads in Fragile World and World Within Worlds, I think that now I have more courage to start even such adventurous and complicated projects. For some of the pictures, I definitely will try to use my acrylic and gouache paints. I hope that on this paper they will work nicely. Especially for this spread where we have bigger part of the landscape, I want to practice more with paints. You know how much I love northern mythology, so when I saw this beautiful landscape with trolls, when I saw this idea that they are stone trolls, of course I immediately fall in love. That's another one, but in my top list, but here I will wait probably until the test of the paper with all my paints, because I want to do sea and sky with the paints, not with the pencils. What a beauty, but it's intimidating. I don't know story yet behind this one, but I want to color this one. But in my top 10 list I put this beautiful African design. It's Mami Wata. I want to color this goddess in my other book, a book by Martin Noble, but I hadn't had possibility yet, so maybe I will color Mami Wata here. I can imagine quite bright, strong, intense colors here. I need to select some kind of the background which would create beautiful contrast to her dark skin. I'm not a big fan of snails, but here it's so magical, so powerful, and I think that her pose also very beautiful. It's like they're dancing together. Absolutely great art by K.Rosanes. I don't know what kind of imagination he was blessed to have to create such a beautiful art. Absolutely amazing. Each and every page is so beautiful, so interesting to look at. And again, I just want to repeat that I'm very happy to learn stories from different cultures. Here we have Slavic mythology, and of course I included it into my top list. Here we have sisters Elkanost and Gamayun. We have many examples of this subject colored by famous artists in my culture, so maybe I will try to find some inspiration to use some of their color choices. Definitely it won't be on my immediate coloring list, but one day I hope that I will color them and that I will do them justice, because they are also very beautifully depicted. Look at this one, amazing art. I have similar spread in my Asian coloring book, and there I learned this story about four strengths, four elements, so to say. So I think that maybe it would be fun to color both pictures together to compare styles of the artists. I don't have that book with me now, but I think that one day when I will have it back, I will maybe color them together. But this one is great. I just hope that I will manage to color the turtle and other elements which are very close to the binding. It's a small problem when you can't reach the binding. Well, where are my next top 10 projects? Look at this beauty. If you need to practice how to color crystals, that definitely will be for you. And again, in my top 10 list I included one of the Asian designs. It's Chanche and Moon Rabbit. Again, I am not sure about the correct pronunciation of her name, but I will learn. Somehow I imagine it with some kind of maybe Perlin Violet or Bordeaux or Caput Mortuum background, maybe with a white kimono with lilac flowers. So I already started to do some color planning for this one. It have to be beautiful, and I absolutely love lotus flowers, so when I see a possibility to color kimono and lotus flowers, then it definitely goes into my top 10 list. Look at all those beauties. Well, the next one is this spread with the creatures from gargouilles from Notre Dame de Paris. I love this cathedral so much, and I was so devastated when it was partly ruined by fire. And I think that this spread is so detailed and so complicated that even if I started immediately, I think that I finish it maybe exactly at the moment when the cathedral will be restored. I hope so. I think that here we can use couple of bright color accents for the stained glass windows, which are amazingly beautiful in Notre Dame de Paris, and the rest we can color with various shades of beige and gray to show play of light and shadows on the stone creatures. And I absolutely love this trick that they start to transform from the stone creatures, from sculptures, into the real one. It was very clever from Kirby part, and I definitely wanted to show it better on my colored page. So this one I also plan to start very soon. And we have this another Asian creature with complicated name. It's Yorugoma. Sorry guys, I absolutely can't pronounce it. I tried a couple of times, but just don't laugh at me. But picture itself, it's very interesting, and story is interesting. She is awful, terrifying, but in the same time she is beautiful, and I'm glad that somehow Kirby managed to show it, this combination of terror and beauty. So it was the last one in my list of top 10. But as I said, I will be perfectly happy to color just one this book, and with the attention of to the details which Kirby put into this book, I think that I will need a couple of years to finish it. But now I started to be much more calm regarding amount of books I own, amount of books which I started, and even if I have couple of finished pages in the book, but if I colored them with everything I have to, if I put everything into this project and I definitely try to do my best, then I'm happy even if I have just couple of finished pictures in the book. For me now quality is more important comparing to the amount of finished pictures in the book. Look at this beauty. I absolutely love this Wawel Cathedral depicted so nicely here. I just have to think which media to use for the better depiction of fire around. Dragon is so magnificent. This one is also very good but complicated. I wanted to include the Atlant into my top 10 list, but I already put almost 11 of them into the list, so it will be like one additional one. Anyway, I just wanted to share with you my excitement, my happiness that I also have this book and that I am ready to start to dive into all those stories, and I hope that you will join me. This book I definitely can recommend. I know that sometimes Kirby's books, they are a little bit intimidating, but because of the light shading, I think that they are quite easy to color even for beginners, and pleasure, it's so great that I definitely can recommend this one. And I think that we need to start coloring it, and in such way it will be easier to wait until the next Kirby book. Thank you for watching, for listening, and I hope to see you very soon in my first coloring.